Hey guys, Trevor Dixon here with Pure Properties, coming at you with another short video of how I grew my construction company. In this video, we're going to talk about how to get consistent jobs, and we're going to talk about how to manage those jobs and the increasing workflow, which leads us to growing our team, which leads us to organizing and time management, aka pre-planning, and also how never to forget the overhead. So the first step to growing your construction company, and the way that we grew ours once we finally made the leap and ended up full time, is consistent lead flow. In the beginning, nobody knows you're here. So the best way to do this is accessing your network. Your friends, your family, your coworkers, anybody you've ever met. Get involved with some networking groups, get your name out there, sign up for things. Grassroots, business cards, door knockers, whatever you can do so that people know that you are offering services. The second and quicker way, if you have a little bit of extra money to play with, is paper leads. Stuff like Angie Leads, Porch.com, Home Advisor. These are not long-term solutions. They're not even solutions I highly recommend, but they do work for getting some jobs in when nobody knows you're available. This is part of the way that we did it, and it's how we got our base clients and how we started to receive referrals. Once you start getting this consistent lead flow, you got to make sure you perform, because that performance is what's going to really catapult your business. Because with the performance comes reviews. You need reviews from everybody. So make sure you're doing a great job and going above and beyond for your clients. Even if it means you don't make that much money, you make sure your client is happy so you can get those reviews, because that really starts to drive customers through your door. The other thing while you're working on all of this is you need to start building your online presence. We started very simple. We made a Facebook page, followed by an Instagram page, and then I went to GoDaddy.com and I built myself a website. Posted some videos, input a logo, posted some pictures of my work, my services offered, and that was it. It was nothing fancy. But I started sharing it around, and I started posting all my activity and generating a little bit of buzz online. Once the reviews start coming in, all of a sudden your online presence becomes a little more powerful. And once you get further down the line, you can start working on a little bit more advanced structures, such as your SOE and, a more professional website and things of this nature. But you need to get a little bit of money in your pocket first before you start working on stuff like this. So once all these jobs start coming in from all of your marketing efforts and you have that consistent lead flow, well, now you've got an influx of work. If you were like me, you're out there by yourself, or maybe you have one helper. That influx of work is not easy to manage. You have to make time to go and estimate all of them and handle sales. You also have to make time to prepare for all the work once the people accept the jobs, and then you have to somehow or another get it all done. This is where you really have to start planning ahead to manage the workflow. This is also a good opportunity to start growing your team. The way that we did it is very simple. We intentionally found people with not that much experience, but really strong, good personalities and work ethics. We did this because they were cheaper to hire. It also allowed us the opportunity to groom them the way that we wanted them to be groomed. They didn't have any bad habits. They didn't have any preconceptions. We were able to teach them exactly how we wanted them to do things. This worked really well for my business. I started with 2 people, well, 1 person, then a second person, and I started grooming them on 1 or 2 things very specifically. And then I started to cut them loose on those 1 or 2 things. In this case, it was floors and decks. Once I was able to cut them loose on a couple things, it really helped me manage my time because I was able to do estimates during the day. I was able to pre-plan and get materials during the day. And I was able to get some of my back-end office work done during the daytime hours instead of burning the candle at both ends. There's no way around, in the beginning, burning the candle at both ends. You got to work, you got to estimate, you got to sell, and then you got to handle all your back-end paperwork. Receipt logging, prepping and ordering materials, sending out the estimates and building the estimates. All of these things take time, and there's just no way to go from point A to point Z without the middle steps. But this is a good place for you to start working on growing that team. The other thing that we did that not every company does is we provided all the material and the transportation for the team that we hired. Because we were hiring lower skilled individuals, people that didn't have construction specific backgrounds, providing that stuff was essential because they didn't have it. They didn't have experience, so why would they have it? It also kept our cost for the actual labor low, but it created another cost because now we were buying vehicles, little along, equipment, little along, and all of this stuff took money. But for us, it worked out a lot better that way because it was easier to manage the growth, because when we would get a good job in, we could take a little bit of extra budget to buy these supplies that we needed. But our labor rate, which was an every week bill, essentially, was manageable. The other stuff we could do as we were able. So this is a very exciting space to be in. But this is also a very difficult space. This is, for us, it took about a year, maybe even a year and a half before this kind of sort of started to settle out. And we were able to get a grip on it and get enough people working to manage the job flow that was coming in while not overdoing it to where we created more expense than we had income. So it is a delicate balance. Take your time when you hire. Your hire is the most important thing you can do. Hire people with good work ethic above anything else and good character. You want to be able to trust these people with your own wives and your own children because your clients are doing that. So you need to make sure that your clients are going to be comfortable with them at all costs. Take your time with these decisions. So we've got consistent lead flow. We've got consistent jobs. And we've started to build up our team. The next thing that happens is you've got to make sure you're organized. When you start getting 2, 3, 4, 7 jobs running at the same time, this can really be a big place where you can make a mistake. This is where your reputation can suffer. You do not want to start letting the details fall through the cracks. And it's easy to do. When you have this many balls in the air and you're the main point of contact for everybody and you're the main head on the shoulders thinking about all the details of the projects, it's super easy to forget little things and end up causing delays or just a bad experience for your client. So be planning ahead for this and make sure that you have a system in place to handle the growth. You need to be able to keep your jobs organized. For us, we use construction management softwares. Specifically, we have used Jobber when we were first starting, and we have recently transitioned into ProJewel, which is very similar to CoConstruct or some of those other bigger softwares. The thing about the software is you can organize your team and your schedule. You can organize all of your invoices and your estimates in one place, and then you can make yourself tasks and assignments and log and document them all per project. That's the big key, because you will forget things. You don't have to use a software. We use a software now, and to this day, I still use the good old pen and paper. This is what I call the brain dump. At the end of the day or the end of the week, I write down all my active projects, and I just brain dump roughly what needs to happen on each project. This helps my brain relax, because when you have this much stuff going on, sometimes it doesn't want to turn off. So when you can dump it out on paper and then enter it into your software so that it becomes automated and you don't have to think about it anymore, that's a godsend. So be organized. Before you start the job, pre-plan the job, order the material, make sure you have all the dimensions and measurements, make sure your subcontractors are already aware of the project and lined up. This will keep your timelines short and your clients happy. You want to make sure your electrician knows about the job 2 to 3 weeks before you start it. So when you're ready for him, it's not a surprise and there's not a delay. You can have him jump right in after the framers, wire everything up, or whatever the case may be. This keeps your project smooth and your clients happy and your reviews coming in. And those reviews, again, from the very beginning, are key. That's where your jobs come from. When people can trust you, they hire you. Doesn't even matter about the cost at that point. They're looking for people that they're comfortable having in their homes. This is what you need to provide. Again, that falls back to who you hire as well. You want people that people are comfortable having in their homes. All of this is about building trust. So get organized before you really need to be organized. Go ahead and plan it out and start a system before you even need the system. Lastly, I want to mention this because it happened to me and it was devastating. Do not forget about your overhead. As all of these things that we've discussed change and happen and the growth comes, so do the expenses. All of these vans and equipment and team members that you're bringing on, all the back-end softwares, the gas, the insurance, all the different things that come from running a business, they get added to the projects, and you don't even necessarily realize it or see it on paper. When you look at a project, let's say you built a deck, you charge somebody $10,000, it takes you $4,000 in materials and $2,000 in labor. You look at the paperwork and you think you've made $4,000. No, that's not the case. First and foremost, you need to account for paying yourself something. Secondly, you've got all this other stuff going on that is applying to the expense of operating your business. That can really get away from you. So before it does, go ahead and remember it and get your accountant or your bookkeeper, your wife or yourself or whoever is managing your finances, and make sure that you understand how much overhead you have and how to break it up and apply it to your projects so that you can truly calculate how much you're making. This is of dire importance. And again, I made that mistake for almost a year straight and wondered where the hell all my money went. So guys, don't make that mistake. All right, guys, so I hope this video was helpful. These are just some of the things that we experienced, and so we wanted to jump on here and share them with you. If you like our content, please like and share, and hit the little notification bell up top so that you can see our new videos when we make them. And until next time,